Imagine an island nation on the edge of Europe with a restless spirit. This was England in the late 15th century, a time when explorers were setting sail across vast oceans, seeking new lands and opportunities. England, eager to join the race for wealth and power, began to plant its flag in distant corners of the world. The first English settlements took root in North America, with Jamestown in Virginia marking a pivotal moment in 1607. These early colonists faced hardship and uncertainty, but they persevered, laying the foundation for a future empire. The Caribbean islands, with their promise of sugarcane and riches, also beckoned, becoming another theatre of British ambition. The 17th and 18th centuries witnessed the rapid expansion of British power across the globe. Driven by a thirst for trade and resources, British ships sailed to every continent, establishing trading posts and colonies. The East India Company, chartered in 1600, played a pivotal role in this expansion, securing trading rights in India and Southeast Asia. The British East India Company, with its own army and navy, became a formidable force, gradually asserting its influence over vast swathes of India. From spices and tea to textiles and precious metals, the goods flowed back to Britain, fueling an economic boom and transforming the nation into a global trading powerhouse. The pursuit of wealth, however, came at a terrible human cost. The transatlantic slave trade, a horrific chapter in human history, became deeply entwined with the British Empire's rise. Millions of Africans were forcibly transported across the Atlantic in appalling conditions, condemned to a life of forced labor on sugar plantations in the Caribbean and the Americas. The sugar, tobacco and cotton produced by enslaved Africans fueled the industries and enriched the coffers of the British Empire. The abolitionist movement, gaining momentum in the late 18th century, exposed the horrors of slavery and ultimately led to its abolition in the British Empire in 1833, though its legacy continued to cast a long shadow. By the 19th century, the British Empire had reached its zenith, encompassing a quarter of the world's landmass and ruling over a vast and diverse population. India, with its immense size and abundant resources, became known as the jewel in the crown of the British Empire, a symbol of its power and prestige. The British administration in India, run by the British East India Company and later directly by the British Crown, oversaw a period of significant infrastructure development, including the construction of railways, canals, and telegraph lines. However, British rule in India was also marked by exploitation, cultural insensitivity, and a growing sense of resentment among the Indian population. Section 5. A continent divided, the scramble for Africa. As the 19th century progressed, European powers, including Britain, turned their attention towards Africa, eager to secure raw materials and new markets for their industrializing economies. The scramble for Africa, a period of intense competition and colonization, saw the continent carved up among European powers, with Britain gaining control of vast territories. From Egypt in the north to South Africa in the south, British colonies spread across the continent, bringing with them their systems of administration, education, and infrastructure. The imposition of British rule, however, often came into conflict with existing African social structures and political systems, leading to resistance and unrest. Section 6. The sun never sets. Challenges to British dominance. The late 19th and early 20th centuries witnessed growing challenges to British imperial dominance. Nationalist movements emerged in many parts of the empire, demanding self-rule and an end to colonial exploitation. The Indian Rebellion of 1857, a bloody uprising against British rule, shook the foundations of the empire, highlighting the growing resentment and desire for independence. Although the rebellion was brutally suppressed, it served as a stark reminder of the fragility of empire and the growing strength of nationalist sentiment. In other parts of the empire too, from Ireland to Egypt, demands for self-determination grew louder, challenging the very notion of British supremacy. Section 7. The world at war, a crumbling empire. The two world wars of the 20th century proved to be a turning point in the history of the British Empire. While Britain emerged victorious from both conflicts, the human and financial costs were staggering, weakening the empire and hastening its decline. The wars also emboldened nationalist movements in the colonies, as people who had fought and died for Britain questioned the legitimacy of continued colonial rule. The rise of the United States and the Soviet Union as superpowers in the aftermath of World War II further diminished Britain's global standing. The empire, once a symbol of British power and prestige, was becoming increasingly difficult and expensive to maintain. Section 8. Letting go, the winds of change and decolonization. The post-war era witnessed a wave of decolonization movements sweeping across the globe. These movements were driven by a strong desire for self-determination and freedom from colonial rule. Britain, recognizing the changing political landscape and facing pressure from both within and outside the empire, began the process of granting independence to its colonies. This was a significant shift in policy, influenced by economic strains and the rise of nationalist movements. India and Pakistan gained independence in 1947, marking a pivotal moment in the dismantling of the empire. This event inspired other colonies to seek their own paths to independence. Over the next few decades, one by one, British colonies in Africa, Asia, and the Caribbean gained their independence. Each nation's journey was unique, reflecting its own history and struggles. The process of decolonization was not always smooth, with some transitions marked by violence and instability. Conflicts often arose due to ethnic tensions, border disputes, and the legacies of colonial rule. However, by the end of the 20th century, the British Empire had largely ceased to exist, leaving behind a complex legacy of both positive and negative consequences. The impact of decolonization continues to shape the political, social, and economic landscapes of former colonies today. Section 9. Echoes of Empire, a lasting legacy. The legacy of the British Empire continues to shape the world we live in today. The English language, British legal systems, and cultural influences and educational institutions have left an indelible mark on many former colonies. These institutions have become pillars of modern society, influencing governance, education, and daily life. The Commonwealth of Nations, a voluntary association of 54 independent and sovereign states, serves as a platform for cooperation and mutual support. Most of these nations were former British colonies, and they continue to share a common heritage and values. This association stands as a testament to the enduring ties forged during the imperial era, promoting peace, democracy, and development. However, the legacy of empire is not without its controversies. The economic disparities, political instability, and social upheavals and ethnic tensions that plague some former colonies can be traced back to the policies and practices of the British Empire. These issues continue to affect the socio-economic fabric of these nations. The debate over reparations for the injustices of colonialism continues to resonate in the 21st century, highlighting the need for reconciliation and justice. Section 10. Britain Today, a new role in the world. Britain today is a vastly different country from the imperial power it once was. The echoes of its vast empire still resonate, but the nation has transformed significantly. With the loss of its empire, Britain has had to redefine its place in the world. This redefinition has been both challenging and enlightening, prompting deep reflection on its identity. It remains a significant economic and cultural force, with a permanent seat on the United Nations Security Council and a leading role in international organizations such as NATO and the G7. These roles underscore its continued influence on global affairs. Britain continues to grapple with its imperial past. acknowledging the darker chapters of its history. This ongoing dialogue is crucial for understanding its current societal dynamics, while also recognizing the contributions it has made to the world. From scientific breakthroughs to cultural milestones, Britain's impact is undeniable. As a nation with a rich and complex history, Britain's story is a reminder of the enduring power of the past to shape the present and the future. This blend of history and modernity continues to define its unique role in the world.